welcome back to my channel, The Wellbeing Guinea Pig. Today I wanted to do a video which I've been wanting to do for a while, and I haven't had a chance to get round to it, but every day I wake up with this video in mind because it's so exciting to me and for me at the moment. Even though we're going through really hard times, I'm just so enthusiastic about every day, and I think the reason is because of my beautiful coaching course. I'm just going to quickly briefly tell you about the course, the company. It's New Insights, and just to sort of explain that I looked into a lot of different companies that offer life coaching, and this was the one that appealed to me the most, and I'm so pleased and blessed that New Insights chose me. That's how I look at it, and I'll go into detail now. But even though I'm talking about New Insights, I feel like to tell you and to really give it justice about the actual course, I think I need to start from the top, and what led me to this place of doing my lovely New Insights life coaching course. So there's no better place to start than from the top. The reason why I'm starting from this point is because I want to give you examples of the limiting beliefs that I've had about myself and my life, and the fact that I negatively told myself, and my brain believed it for so long, that I couldn't do certain jobs, I couldn't put myself over in a certain way because of the lack of education. So we're going to start at the top. A bit of a difficult one to start off with. It's one of those things that I really toyed with talking about, but I think because going forward I want to be brutally honest really about everything to do. I want to be the example because I want to be exposed, and I want to be vulnerable, and I want to learn and grow. And what I realise is being honest about who you are and your beginnings and everything in between is extremely empowering. The fact that I can talk about these things and now understand that they don't control me, it's a beautiful thing. But I'm talking encryptively at the moment, so I'm going to get right into it. So I'm not going to go into names. I'm just going to explain to you in a sort of roundabout way so I don't upset anyone else or offend anyone else. But basically I was abused when I was a child. It was with an in-law, as I say, not mentioning any names, but yeah, the abuse was there. And I think I kind of, as a young child, probably dealt with that at a very early age, because in fact when I was 10 years of age I shouted at this individual saying, "Don't you ever touch me again." And that was, as a child, that must have been extremely empowering. And I think, you know, again, our experiences mould us, and I remember feeling like that this individual has no bearing on my future, and I've always been quite candid about that. I think what affected me the most was the fact that I told my mom when I was 13, and she didn't do anything about it. Now, I love my mom, she's a beautiful soul, but for whatever reasons that are her own, she didn't even tell my dad. So that made me extremely angry as a child, because I think I was angry from the time of being abused anyway, just because I didn't understand it and my brain was trying to process it, and I think it made me a very angry individual. I think also, and when I talk about this, I am not justifying any of my actions that were incorrect through my life. I'm not justifying the fact that I was a little angry individual, because I have to take responsibility for that, because even though we can't always control what goes on in our life, we can control how we deal with it, however. So, you know, as I say, I'm just giving you the facts of what's happened to me and why I've got to this place. I also, I didn't do very well at school. I didn't have the drive really with the education. I remember going to senior school, and in the first year, I remember the teacher trying to get me up to read. I felt extremely, because I already knew, because I was in middle set at primary school, I wasn't one of the clever, you know, in my perception, clever kids. But I think the fact that the teacher was trying to get me to read in front of the class and get me up in front of the class and read, it really sparked my embarrassment, and I think I must have felt like I couldn't read very well, and so the fact that he made me stand up, I went really red, and I used anger as a way. I basically stormed out the class, and really, when I think of it, I feel like stuff like that damages us. You know, these teachers who are supposed to be educating us can do, if they do a bad job, it can be very detrimental. And that's how it was for me. I remember, and then after that point, it was like a pivotal moment for me that I could never read in front of anyone. I mean, like, you know, not even on a one-to-one basis, because of extremely embarrassing, and I could feel myself going red and all these sensations, you know. So it was very you know, anxiety provoking for me. And then, so again, something that I've really tried not to tell anyone about is the fact that I came away from school with no GCSEs. I literally had like one D for English and E's and F's. And you know, it reiterated to me that I was an academic. I was basically, I would say I was thick. This is how I'd sort of mentally call myself thick. And so when I left school and I went to college, and I've got to admit to you, I did health and social care at college. I loved college, I really did. Yeah, I found the freedom of college, and I don't know whether it was the teachers that I had, you know, the lecturers that I had, were really, it was just such a different environment, and I really enjoyed it. You know, I really enjoyed the learning side of things, and the course material and everything, and it just, when I think back, I sort of started being me a lot more at that point, which worked. After I finished 3 years at college, I went on to uni, and I wanted to be a probation officer, so I did the course that I went on to was criminal justice. And again, I loved uni. I only got through the first year, mind, but you know, bear with me. I loved university. Again, it was that freedom, and it was something that I chose to do. And I'd always been really interested in the human mind and how different people can be. Well, I remember this from like a really young age when I started collecting serial killer, you know, weekly bits of information about serial killers, which was, my mum used to say was morbid, but for me it was fascinating. So I always had a fascination about the human mind and how it works and how we're so different. But anyway, back to uni. So I completed the first year and I loved it, and I would have loved nothing more really than to carry on with that course. However, in my second year, you have to do your presentations. I had to do presentations, and my ego, my mind would not allow me to stand up and present anything to a class. I couldn't even get over that. You know, it was 100% no-go. So I'd already planned the fact that I was going to take a leave of absence. And I remember using the excuse of that I wanted to earn money, and you know, protecting that that need to be liked and to be popular or to be perceived as something else than what you actually are. Yeah, so I hid that extremely well, and just wanted to work full time so I could, you know, afford the outfits that I wanted for going clubbing. You know, it was a shame really, because I really did enjoy that course, but my mind had already put its protective mechanism there in place, and so that was the point where, you know, it was a slippery slope of going into jobs that were just mediocre, and I really feel like, knowing that now about myself, I feel like other people do that all the time. You know, we go through life and we choose jobs not that make our heart beat. Like, I'm getting to this place where my heart's just beating for what I want to do. Like, I'm living the life that I want to live, and I'm not even there yet. But this is where I am. My brain has fully told me that you are a life coach. You are a nutritionist and supplementation advisor. You are a well-being life coach, and I feel that that's who I am. You know, and it's a special thing because I'm not even qualified yet. Everything that I do in my life, I live as a life coach. I'm sort of really fully have embraced that feeling of what it feels like to be a well-being life coach. So, and you know, it's just sad that we all settle for something because of the limiting beliefs that we so often say in our brain, and sometimes it's not even consciously. You know, I don't think for the longest time I even realised consciously that's what I was doing, beating myself up about it. So, we'll come to the life coaching now. I'm on module 6. I've started this, and I'm at the point where we're talking about life purpose. And again, you know, I'm right at the beginning of this module, so I'm sure I'll probably want to do another one while I've finished it. And just to quickly say as well that there's only 7 modules, and then I've got to do my case studies, which I'm really looking forward to. But honestly, I get up every morning, it's like having a counsellor there, which leads me on to another point. Now, as a life coach, you're not regulated. Anyone could call themselves a life coach, but for me, I made a choice to do a course, and I'm so pleased that I did, because the information that I've got now is invaluable for where I want to be. I know that some people choose not to do that, and I think, you know, that's again an individual choice, but for me, I just love this course, and I love what it's taught me already, and I'm not even at the end of it. So I feel like crying when I think, after module 7, you know, I've only got my case studies, and then it's in the big wide world of putting it all into practice, which again, there's nothing that I'm thinking of in my future where I'm saying, oh, I don't know whether I can do that. I don't know whether I feel 100% that I know that that's where I'm going to be, and nothing's going to stop me. So just to quickly just talk about, because I know I'm combining my love for this course as life coaching, combining it with what led me to this point, and you know, my emotions with it all. But I want to just bring up a couple of things that are the top things that I feel like I can. Because I could be here all day. I could be here all day talking about the beautiful information. But what stand out to me, that have been really, you know, beneficial to me, a massive benefit to me. Obviously, as I said, the limiting beliefs, you know, and learning about those, and learning about the way that we as humans communicate from what we've gone through in our past, and, you know, our past experiences, and how it shapes and moulds us. Projecting has been extremely interesting to me, because now I see when I'm projecting. So projection on just to put it, to simplify it, for me is that I sort of make a judgment about others on the emotions that I don't like about myself. So I don't like angry people who are angry, you know, because and I see it in my life, like, oh, that individual's so angry. Look at them cutting that person up on while they're driving, and look at that overreaction there. And I've been guilty of that all through my life. I've always been an overreactor. I've always and my husband even said it to me, and it stuck out to me. You're a reactor. I react without even my brain really having time, or should I say, I did. I really am reflecting on all this sort of thing now, but I've been very reactive, very defensive, and I think that comes back to when Mom didn't do anything about me telling Mom this information, and I think at the back of that was always a feeling of I'm on my own, so I have to defend myself, to the hills. And I think because the other thing is feeling like you don't sort of fit in. This is something that we're all, I think, as humans, we all try and do. We all try and fit in to a group, and I've got to sort of go back to the point where I first had my children, and being able to change my diet somewhat to accommodate a little baby in my tummy. I think that was the onset of my interest with food, but it was in its infancy. Of course, you just being mindful of wanting to give your baby the best, and I gave my little baby the best from the knowledge that I had. And that was the initial stages of what I put in my mouth matters, and then I think after that point, losing Dad to cancer, so that was at a point where I started seeing these sort of revelations, and it really took me on a different direction, and it opened up so many things that I'd never in my wildest dreams thought I'd ever see. It woke me up to the truth. I'm speaking encryptively now, because a lot of my own personal beliefs I can't actually discuss. So it changed me. It took me down a rabbit hole that was forever going, the hole was forever there, and it made me feel, if I'm honest, pleased on one sense that I'd had my eyes opened, but on the other sense it really made me feel alone, that I didn't have anybody else in my inner circle that understood these truths that I'd uncovered, and I think this was part of why I went through anxiety and depression as well. I felt like like I've explained, I didn't really fit in with the moms, with the home baking and the, what people show as perfect, which I know now is just an illusion, but I didn't feel like I fitted into that scenario, which I've explained before. But also having these revelations and realising about so many things that I'd never understood before. Again, anytime I bring it up to anybody else, they would sort of just shun me or go, well, where's your head? Where are you coming from here? I don't understand it. And I think that was part of it. So just bear with me while I go through the scenarios of my life, because I want you to understand what led me to finding new insights. So I came out of the first bout of anxiety and depression, And it really catapulted me even more into learning about nutrition and obviously, you know, supplements that we take that for to feed our brain and to feed our bodies, to give us energy. And it was wonderful. You know, I came out a stronger, more confident person. I see what I did though. I believed, because of this experience, this big experience, I believed that it was nutrition and supplements that sort of got, along with TMS, guided me out of this scenario. And I used the supplements that I'd, you know, the knowledge that I gained as a crutch, which I didn't see it as at the time. But I developed this real ritual of got to have this, I've got to have that, you know. And it wasn't that it was doing me harm, but mentally it was, because I was relying on these things. And then when I went through the second bout of depression, those things didn't help, because they became a crutch, you know. And so going through the second bout, I remember really being quite angry and wanting to ask God, because I'm not religious, but I am very spiritual. I don't follow any religion because I don't want to be part of any group. I'm okay to stand alone with my thoughts and feelings. But I was very angry with God, and I really sort of, I remember shouting at God saying, why have you done this to me again? And sorry, I'm about to cry, talking about my dad. I remember shouting at my dad saying, why have you put me through this, Dad? Why are you not there? Anyway, sorry about that. I do get emotional. Right, compose. And feeling like, what could I possibly learn at this point? You know, I've gone through I'd gone through the pain. I'd come out the other side of the pain and I felt stronger, but then I thought to myself, how can I learn anything again after this point? And I was so wrong. I was so wrong. For one, I did lean on pharmaceutical drugs, which was a big, at the time, it was a massive pill to swallow, but because I'd been so anti-pharmaceuticals, because of everything that the truths that I'd uncovered, I really didn't want to depend on a pharmaceutical drug. But I in the end, I felt like it was the best thing to do, because it just gave me that little bit of a break at that point when I couldn't see the light, and it did what it said on the tin, even though in the end, like I've discussed, there was quite a few pharmaceutical drugs that I took, all or nothing, but I did need them as a little bit of a sort of ladder, stepping stone at that point. And going into hospital, you know, really helped me, which I've discussed, which I've never experienced again. But coming out of this now, and being back in balance, I could see, you know, I really needed those lessons, you know, and then I thought to myself, what could I do that could enhance my skill set, you know, with the nutrition, with the supplementation. I offered myself as the mind-body connection, but I really felt disempowered with moving forward with the nutrition and supplements that I'd learnt about, that didn't help me mentally when I went through my second episode. I saw them as a crutch, And so I felt like, well, how could I possibly give other people advice on health and, you know, supplements for anxiety, more the mental side of it, you know. It really rocked my trust in what I'd learned. And I had to really sort of gather my thoughts together and come back in to my own and say, well, what can I do here? I can't, I mean, the world was blocked off at that point anyway, so I couldn't sort of start a business with nutrition and supplements. But I thought, what can I do? What is calling to me at that point that I need, the missing link almost to what I needed to have known. And then, boom, in comes New Insights. And it's just been so amazing to learn all the things that it's taught me. And I've got to say, for New Insights, they have sold themselves short, and I understand why, because I know, because of the regulations of it all, that they can't offer, we can't, well, we're not, I'm qualified. I can say this because I'm not qualified yet, but we can't, because of these regulations, as a life coach, you can't sort of treat mental health. That this is for the job of the psychiatrist, you know, and again, I don't want to get into the politics of it all, but I could do quite easily, but I'm not going to. But we are not, as a life coach, you're not allowed to sell your services to someone with a mental health issue. And yet, you know, as I say, disclaimer, I'm not treating disease, I'm not saying I'm a psychiatrist. I've got to tell you that, because I'm not going to, you know, offer myself out over in that way. But from my own experience, I feel like I've had a counsellor every morning when I rise and do my work. It's just been amazing for me. The way that it's uncovered these conversations that I've had with myself, and you know, I mean, I think going through anxiety, you come to your own revelations really, because you're forced to look at these things, you know, in a way where I can see how my mood was getting lower. I could see what I was doing to myself every step of the way. You know, it changed my inner dialogue. It honed in on those things that were there, and I didn't have a way of putting a name to them, or to see how they connect, you know, connecting the dots. And this, what my beautiful New Insights has done. And I remember doing, just to tell you the difference with my courses, I'm not going to tell you the companies that I use to get my other qualifications, which are qualifications that are regulated, so then I'll come away with a regulated certificate, you know, where we have to do this with college and uni and all the rest of it. But the difference for me was that I looked at the you know, to become a nutritionist and a supplementation advisor. They were very much in line with the schooling system, and if I'm honest with you, not half as enjoyable as this life coaching course. I don't know whether the reason for that is because this, above anything else that I've learned, is my calling, and to take this knowledge on was extremely in line with the way that I learned. And now this brings me on to another point, and I'm not going to say the name properly because it's very fresh in my mind, and I know that I have to keep saying these new words, you know, as we do. We have to keep sort of saying them for them to really sink in. But I've learned that predominantly I learn through kinestic. If you want to tell me what that is, you know, I'm not above messing up, because I'm only human. but it means that you learn through energy, and you learn through being touchy-feely, and you know, this is the way that I have always learned, and it makes total sense why the teachers weren't able to get through to me in a language that I understood, and why I absolutely loved PE, because it was getting in there and getting your heart rate up and doing all these lovely things. That for me, that's what I remember at school that was great. I loved English too, but PE was just amazing for me. So learning, you know, we've, if you remember, you know, I'm in like 41, but you sort of use the blackboard, didn't you? The teacher would write all these sentences, and you go, I think you had to be a really good parrot, if I'm honest. You know, it's sort of repeating what the teacher said to the letter, and it was being, you got your sort of pat on the back for being a parrot, but not actually learning. And so now I've realised that the knowledge that I've gained from my New Insight course, and the way that the mind operates, it's just, it fits with me like lock and key, you know. And the other side of things is the manifestation of it all. Like I started learning about manifestation a while ago, really, after I went through the first episode. And I've always listened to Fearless Soul. I wish that, you know, everyone listened to Fearless Soul. I listen to Fearless Soul on Alexa or on YouTube, whatever, and it's so inspiring for me. It always has been. But because I understand so much more now.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry Alexa, I wasn't sure. I've got to unplug you actually when I'm not having a conversation with you, because I don't want you listening to me. There we go. Where was I, guys? So having that beautiful combination of Fearless Soul and my beautiful course in the morning, it's absolutely wonderful. I now as well I've adopted a really early rising time. So I tend to go to bed at around about 9:45. I'm asleep usually no later than 10:30, and then I rise at sort of 6 o'clock. It was earlier before, but now the children are off school and the world's gone crazy. It's 6 o'clock at the moment, and I love getting in those 2 hours before the kids get up, before the noise. You know, my brain is so switched on at that time in the morning. I'm just so much more efficient, which, you know, I remember thinking years ago, you know, these people are crazy, they get up at like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, I want a job that allows me to get into work at about 9 o'clock, get up at about 8 o'clock. And my brain was quite sluggish because I wasn't utilising the best of it. And of course then it really, it sort of plays on itself then, because I know my brain is switched on because of the nutrition that I give it now, and also what I put into it to learn, you know, on an academical standpoint, I suppose we'd say, and so it feeds on itself, and I'm so excited. You know, I wake up and I go, woo! What can New Insights teach me today? And then, you know, my brain, I'll go on a power walk and I'll watch, I don't know, Mark Hyman or Chris Beat Cancer, you know, a bit of name dropping there. But, you know, and I'll take on that information so much more efficiently, because I know exactly what to do to feed my brain now. And it's a totally different life than I've ever experienced. And because I'm loving life, I can pass that love on to others, you know, because I don't get envious anymore of someone else, you know. I don't look at their life as a mom, or say, oh look, look how great that mom is at doing the homework, and and that's the other thing. I know we a point that's taken in a way that I hope it's meant. I am not stressing myself out about this homework, that the kids have got to do. It's not that I don't think it's my job. It's the fact that I see the anxiety around everything that the parents feel like they have to be. They have to be the best wife, they have to be the best cook, they have to be the best mom, they have to show the cleanest house. The pressure that we put ourselves under to be, I just see it so clearly now, and I'll do it for my child. What I instill in my two children, that the ethos is, give it 110%, but at the same time I'm not going to get myself in, and I think part of it, and what I see is the problem at the moment, is this technology where we've got to have all these codes, and we've got like 20 codes from every day, and you change your phone and then it takes you a year to work out how to use it. Me being 41, this is me. But it's all pressure, and I see it so clearly now, and I say, whoa, why would I want to do that to myself? It's okay, I'll instill the morals into my children to allow them to be who they want to be. Now, just my eldest daughter, because my youngest is still pretty young, but my eldest daughter, she loves art. She loves making things. And what I used to do before I feel so passionate about getting people to look at life the right way, or for them, not for me to give them the skills, for them to find their own skill set to do that. But I used to sort of say, oh Bella, you're not doing very well at maths, so sideline all that, those little inventions that you're going to do there, and this beautiful skill that you've got. We're going to bring that maths up now. She didn't like the maths. It's not what brings the best colours out in Bella. So why would I spend all my time trying to push her into a direction she probably won't ever be in life? And that's the problem of the schooling system in my eyes. It's like, I fully appreciate that I've come away from school with no qualifications, but has it stopped my passion for what I want to be? Does it mean that my brain's not working? And these are the labels that we carry around with us, maybe sometimes for life. Does it mean that I can't be the person and what makes my soul light up? I've got even when I think about where I want to be in the future, I've got like sort of pins and needles. It's all just it's full of energy. That's what we should be giving the youth. That's what we should be giving each other, to say, oh, let me see your beautiful colours, let me see. And we hide in the shadows where we do the 9 to 5, or we do that job that we feel like our family tell us to do, or what we feel like society tells us to do. And then that light, our little light that's just been sort of flickering in the background, is really is blew out. It's non-existent. And one thing that anxiety and depression and going through all these experiences has taught me is that I can really embrace all my colours now. I'm not going to dim my light so other people can shine. I'm going to shine, and I know that my existence is, and I feel like the sky's the limit, because I want to be an inspirational speaker now. It means getting up in front of people and speaking your truth and talking about how to give somebody else the skills to change their life. Everything's open, it's like, I could be anything that I wanted to be. My limited beliefs are no longer there, and it's so freeing. And ultimately, this is what I want to get across to people, that you can be free and you can live the life that you want to. And again, success, you know, if it means that you want to be, I don't know, a litter picker. I mean, probably most people there go, why would your life passion be a litter picker? But if the individual thinks that that's what makes them light up, that they love being outside, they love the thought of picking up other people's litter because they're cleaning up our country, or you know, the area, and that gives them joy, they're successful in their own right. And that's all it is. That's all we're going for, is what success is in us. Now, you may look at me as unsuccessful because I'm not. What you're talking about? You're not qualified. You can't give me. You know, I could give nutrition advice and supplement advice, but you're not a life coach yet. But I am, because I'm successful without even being there yet. And that's all it's about. So I just can't praise New Insights enough, and I can't praise Fearless Soul, or the manifestations from Fearless Soul. I think listening to Fearless Soul really brought me to New Insights. So always manifest your dreams. Go for what you want. The secret is, there's no limits. You can be and do whatever you want to do. So I'm going to leave you with that there. As I say, this is my lovely course, New Insights. I will put a link below. But, you know, as much as I love this course and I love this company, do your own research and see what calls you and what speaks to you. So to finish on a lovely note of just be you. Do what makes your heart sing. This is what makes my heart sing, and I can't wait for the future. And if I go through anxiety and depression again, then I'll get stronger and more determined, and I feel like nothing can stop me from living the life I was meant to live. So please, I hope that you take away that for your own life. And I'll see you in the next one.